This is going to be the ultimate guide to Industrial Revolution. This is a fabric mod that is fantastic for tech players. Thank you to the commenter who pointed out this mod to me. I was not aware it existed. Looking for more mods? Then please comment below if they're not on my channel already. So first things first, what do we need? Well, we have a revolutionary guide with a book and some nickelite dust. Nickelite dust, you say? Well, what's that? Well, if we go into the guide, we have natural resources: silver, nickelite, sulfur, tin, lead and tungsten. Silver ore can be found from 0 to 32 in stone and deep slate, and is used for more advanced machines. Sulfur can be found from 0 to 16 or up to layer 100 in the nether. Tin is 0 to 48 in stone and deep slate, is heavily used in crafting machines. Nickelite can be found from 0 to 16, is the main component in Indrev's machine from basic to advanced, so you'll be needing a lot of nickelite ore. And lastly, tungsten and lead. Tungsten is from 0 to 16, just deep slate only, and is used for armour, etc. And lead is deep slate and stone, 0 to 32. So once you've got your book, you're then going to want to make some tools. A hammer, which is used for making plates. We're going to be using a lot of plates in Industrial Revolution. Copper plates, iron sheets, golden, tin, etc. By simply getting your hammer and putting it with the ingots in your inventory to make the plates. That'll be a main component. We then have the wrench used with plates. The wrench will basically rotate blocks for you. And lastly, the screwdriver, which is very easy to make. This will change the inputs and output sides of your machines, which I'll be showing you shortly. One of the first things you want to do in Industrial Revolution is make some power for your machines. So how do we make power, how do we transfer power, and how do we store power? Well, the first one you're going to want to make is going to be the coal generator. It needs heat coils, which are made from copper plates, machine block made from nickelite dust, which you just literally get from nickelite ore, iron plates, batteries, etc. As long as you have a hammer, you can make this coal generator. Now inside, you can put coal in the middle here, and it will heat up to make energy. Now the thing is here, the more you use it, the hotter the machine will get. And that's absolutely fine. This block will not explode. In Industrial Revolution, the blocks do not explode. However, we can put a coolant in here to keep it cool and running more efficiently. And there are 3 types of coolant you can use: a fan, a cooler cell, and a heatsink. Now, at the start of the game, you will only be having access to a fan. As you can see, it's just made of tin plates. Then, when we get into the cooler cell, you need a coolant. And coolant is made from fluid infusing water and lapis, which you don't have an infuser yet, so you can't do that. And then lastly, we have the, oh God, what's it called? Heatsink, right? Me asking you guys, I'm going to be teaching you. The heatsink is basically a mix of both tin plates, coolant, and fans, and that's the best. So you have to use them, it's just to make it more efficient. Next up, we have a heat generator. This is going to use a bit more advanced materials, and so will all of these, and you may not have access to these yet, but I want to show you all of the power options available. The heat generator, you simply pump in lava with a bucket or with pipes, and it makes energy out of lava. The solar generator, you just put under the sun, it makes solar power. The upgraded version makes more. And then we have a biomass generator. Biomass is made by recycling wood and dirt and things like that into biomass in the recycler, and then you put the biomass into the biomass generator, it makes energy. So how do we store that energy? Well, you can make a Lazuli flux container Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, and Mark 4. A Mark 1 will store 10,000 energy, a Mark 2, 100, Mark 3, 1,000,000, and a Mark 4, 10 million. And how do we transport that power? Well, in the same way, we have Mark 1, 2, 3, and 4 cables. So as you can see here, I've plugged all these cables into my machines, Mark 1s, and we're simply drawing power from the generators. But how do we get them into the container, for example? Well, take a screwdriver and right-click on the machine. Orange is output, blue is input. But how do you know which side is which? Well, as we can see here, the mode input front is east. So I can look at my mini-map, and that side over there is east. As you can see, that's blue for input. But what about if I don't have that map on and I know I've connected a cable to that side? Well, right click your screwdriver and you can see on this side it does say connected to cable Mark 1. So I go, okay, that's where my cable is connected. I know that I want to input into this cell from that side. So I can press input and just left click to change it to none, output, none, or input. We can input, and then when I click on it without the screwdriver, you can see the energy is stored in there. And I can put another cable on this side and it will output into my machines. Same with the Mark II, the Mark III and the Mark IV. Obviously, the higher you get, the more these cost to make, but can store more. Lastly, we have the charge pad. You can basically put your items on here, and anything in your hand, anything like that, it will charge, and you power it from the bottom. And that is everything you need to know about power generation, storage, and transport in Industrial Revolution. Next up is our basic machines. So what do I mean by basic? Well, basic machines means that they're quite easy to understand and don't need any complex setting up. Starting off, let's look at the infuser. The reason, you'll be using it quite a lot. If I click on it and then press U for uses using EMI, that's a different mod, the EMI mod, we can then click the arrow and go to infusing to see what we can make with it. At the bottom, you can see there's an infuser Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, Mark 4, and even a creative one. Some mod packs may implement recipes to make the creative one, and sometimes it'll be unavailable completely. So you can put in things like bone meal with, different plants to double them and duplicate them. Copper and tin dust makes bronze dust, which you can then smelt into bronze ingots. Another really useful one is diamond and nickelite dust to make enriched nickelite dust, which you'll be using for higher tier machines. We also can make nickelite dust and iron ingots to make nickelite ingots. So the infuser is a really important machine in what's this mod called? Industrial Revolution. We can also make electrum dust, steel dust, all these different kinds of things in here by mixing things together. Enriched nickelite dust and nickelite ingot will then make you enriched nickelite ingots, for example. So how do we get all those dusts that I'm talking about? Well, nickelite dust, you just mine up nickelite and that's fine. And also, before we get on to actually how to get the dusts, I just want to show a solid infuser, Mark 1, has 1 upgrade slot. A Mark IV has 4 upgrade slots and will work a lot faster. I'm going to use this example with the pulverizer. This pulverizer can make diamonds, for example, into diamond dust. So I put my diamonds in. As you can see, it's fairly slow, and that's the Mark I. Whereas in the Mark IV, if I put my stack of diamonds in, you can see it's a lot quicker. We can then make empty enhancers with a compressor and some plates, and then we can make a buffer enhancer, increasing energy capacity, a speed enhancer, increasing processing speed, but also how much power it uses. When we go onto the electric furnace, there's an enhancer to allow it to make blast furnace recipes, smoking as well, and then the slaughter machine, which I haven't shown you yet either, we can actually increase how much damage it does. If you have a Mark I machine and you want to upgrade to a Mark II machine, well, you can make the Mark II machine upgrade, Mark III and Mark IV. So I'm just going to get my Mark II upgrade here. I'm going to go over to my Mark I machine, and I'm just going to click it, and it will upgrade it to a Tier 2 or Mark II machine. So you don't have to remake the machines, you can just upgrade them with the upgrade things like that. How do we then put these upgrades in here? Well, it's simple. I can get my speed enhancer, put it in the upgrade slot, and as you can see, it's a lot faster. I can't stack these, but I can put multiple in here to make it go super duper fast. And as you can see, it's heating up and it'll be using more power the more upgrades I put in here. Remember, Mark I has 1 upgrade slot, Mark IV has 4 upgrade slots. But the Mark IV will run faster and use more energy as default, even without any upgrades. So do be aware of that as well. We've got the sawmill. Basically, the sawmill will saw things. You can make 1 birch log into 6 planks, some sawdust and some sticks, etc. We've got the compressor. The compressor will make planks into plank blocks, and it will actually make 1 ingot into 1 plate, and things like that. We've got the furnace. which, well, smelts things. And don't forget, with the furnace, you can put in the blasting upgrade and the smoking upgrade in order to be able to use these recipes in the electric furnace. Lastly, we have the fluid infuser. What we can do here is things like putting water and concrete powder into solid concrete, and things like water and lapis lazuli into coolant. So how do we get it in there then? Well, luckily this mod also adds fluid pipes, Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, etc., which you can see transfers more and more buckets the higher tier you get. But how do we get that water? Let's use this example. You can also make a tank. So let's get our tank and our pipes. I'm going to show you basically how we're going to transport fluids now, because, you know, perfect time to do it. I'm going to put my tank here. This is where we're going to put our water in. My fluid pipe is going to go into the fluid infuser. Has this got power? Probably not. Let's just link this up. There we go. And then what we're going to be making is a pump. So the pump will pump anything below it, I believe. So I'm just going to get my pump. It does need energy to work. So there we go. You power the pump from the top. And then it's got the output, as you can see here, so face out towards your tank. And as you can see, the pump actually drills down itself to find whatever liquid it's looking for, which here is going to be water. So, oops. So, as you can see here, I think I had to put it 2 below for it to work, I'm not sure. But you power it from the top. This is where your water outputs to. Place the fluid pipe, and then attach it to your tank. What you will then notice is that no water is going into it. Well, why is that? Because we need a servo. Now, the wording on here is a little bit difficult to understand, personally. Output servo pushes into connected inventories. A retriever servo pulls from connected inventories. What that means is a output servo is pushing from the pump into connected inventories. Whereas if I put a retriever servo, it will pull. So I could put a retriever one here, and it will be pulling into the tank from connected inventories. Whereas if I put in a output servo, it's pushing from the tank, from the pump, into connected inventories. You need these servos on your pipes in order to push and pull into inventories. So we've pumped out the water into our tank. You could just do it straight into the machine, of course. And then I'm going to be putting it into my fluid infuser. So from here, again, I'm pushing from the tank into my fluid infuser. And you'd want to use your screwdriver and go mode fluid, because if I put input on items connected to the fluid pipe, obviously that's items. I want to go fluid, look at the one that's connected to the fluid pipe, input. And now the water is going in. Forgotten how to do that? Well, don't forget, it's with your screwdriver for inputs and outputs. So then all I need to do is put in my lapis lazuli into here, and it will start infusing it. And that's how the fluid infuser works. So that's basically all of the basic machines. This is the Industrial Revolution Rancher, a very simple machine that can do quite a lot for you. So what does it do? Well, it can feed, breed, and kill all of your animals for you, all in one go. Place the machine down, and you can see here we have a range. I can say, only affect animals in this range, or I can scroll it all up to range 9, and it'll do it all in this range here, which is pretty big. Now, what I can do is press this button on the right-hand side to hide the range or show it. So hidden, just looks like this. Show it obviously has the borders. In the input is where you want to put your food to breed the animals. In this instance, I've got some cows in here, and we are using wheat. The output, of course, will be the items that you have gotten from killing the animals. Now we've got some options. Up here we have 2 tabs. The main tab is the one we can see at the moment. The second tab is your options. Do we want to feed them babies? Do we want to mate adults? Maybe we do, but we don't want to keep mating them into oblivion because it could lag the server you're on, for example. So you can say mating limit is 16. I'm actually not sure if this means that it will mate 16 cows into 32 cows, or if once you've got 8 cows, it will make them all into 16 cows. But either way, it doesn't matter too much. This is the default, and then it will say kill after 8, meaning if you have 8 cows, it will kill any excess. So, you know, mating limit 16, killing after 8. Your cow count would always be between 8 and 16. It's a really amazing all-in-one block for all of your ranching needs, for breeding, butchering, and rearing your animals. And you could, of course, have different animals in here with different foods in each slot, so that you can do them all in one area. And that is the Industrial Revolution Rancher. Another machine that is actually technically a basic one, not an advanced one, is the Recycler. Power it up, and quite simply, it will recycle plant matter into your biomass for your biomass furnace or generator. I just forgot to mention that one earlier. Then we have here the chopper. You put in an axe, and it has a logo here so you know where to put it. You put in an axe, you put in your bone meal and your saplings, and it will give you all of the outputs for those. And it will actually plant the saplings, grow the saplings, and then harvest the saplings. And you can put in different saplings. I put in a stack of oak and birch, but as you can see, it does get a bit full of one. So if you're using different trees, it may not work as well as you'd like it to. As you can see, it's mostly been taken over by birch. But that is the chopper. Again, you can just change the range, etc. We then have the farmer. And in here, you just put in your seeds or whatever crop you want. You are going to have to hoe it yourself. As you can see here, I need to hoe this and place the water down myself. But then once you've done that, as you can see, it is actually planting the seeds for me. So it will plant the seeds and then harvest the seeds and replant them. Obviously put in the wheat we get into the output, but you do need to hoe the ground and also place the water down yourself, and that is the farmer. We've then got the fisher. Basically put a fishing rod in here, you get fish, power it. The water needs to be adjacent to the machine, so like this. Okay. Then we have, lastly, the slaughter. So again, the range, put a weapon in here, and then it will slaughter anything in the range. So if I put these pigs in here, as you can see, it will actually hit a lot of them all at once, and it will slaughter anything in that area. And that is the slaughterer. You can obviously upgrade this with a damage upgrade as well. And that's all of the more advanced machines in the mod. This is the Industrial Revolution mining rig. It will mine phantom ores from a void dimension. How fabulous for us. So how do we make it work? Well, place it down. There we go. Mining rig computer. Inside we need drills, an ore card, and power. I'm just going to use creative power cell because it's a tutorial, but power it from whatever side you want. I'm going to put it onto the top. So now it's got power. I need to add mining rig drills. So add them one below, so it's like that. Now you need somewhere for your ores to go. I'm going to put mine on the back. So just to the back of the machine, put an inventory, and that's where it will output the ores. Then you can also put these diagonally. So like this. They can go diagonally, they can go next to it, etc. Now inside these drills, you need to put, well, drill heads. There's a stone drill head, an iron, a diamond, and a netherite version. Obviously, the netherite one will get you more ores. When you place these into each drill, so when we look at this mining drill, you can see I've got 4 heads installed now. On this one, you can see I've got 2 heads installed. Then we need our data card to tell us what ores to mine. Make a data card encoder, like in front of me, power it, and what you can see here is richness, types, and how many cycles it will do. So you need to get a ore card and place that in here, and then put in here the ores you want it to mine. So I'm going to say iron ore. And if I put in 14, it will say not enough, missing 50. Okay, I need to put in 64 of it. And you can put in more to get more, in here. Up in here, in the modifier slots, we can add things like stone. And that will add more size to it. So I'm going to read this from the book for you, just to get a bit of an understanding. You can also use Nicolite ore, but I can't seem to spawn it in at the moment. I'm having an issue. So these are attributes which we can do it by. Storage size can be seen by the circle UI in the tooltip. The blue circle represents how many cycles the mining rig done. Basically, if we look in this card here, can you see it says 0% and there's basically hardly anything left? If you add stone into here, we will get more size modifiers. Sorry, don't know where I was. UPS knocked at the door with a parcel for some new sneakers, actually. So stone will add more cycles to it. You can also add Nicolite dust, which will add the richness, meaning that each cycle will get you more ore. So stone adds more cycles. Nicolite dust, or enriched Nicolite dust even, will add how much ore you get from each cycle. And you put that into your modifiers. Don't add too many modifiers, or this ore card may overload and won't be usable. You press right. It takes 10 seconds or so, and it will write you that ore card. So I've just put iron ore on this one, but you can put all different ones. And now you can see how rich it is and how much we've got in there and how many cycles. You simply come along to your mining rig, input the data card, and there we go. The active drills will start mining. Netherite drills will go faster than diamond, diamond faster than iron, iron faster than stone. And then in your nearby inventory, you will get the ore. I mean, look how much it's made already, just while I've been filming this tutorial. It's insane. And there we go. That is the mining rig computer. Don't forget you can add these diagonally and also on each side of the mining rig computer in order to maximize your gains. So the last thing I want to show you in this mod is the gear we can make, which is modular. Basically, what we need to make is a core of modularity for each item of gear we'd like to make. Now, I don't know how you can track when this is ready, but you have to set it up very specifically. Make these laser emitters, ideally 4 to 6 of them, and place them onto your power, with a cable or however you want. Like this, I'm using creative cores, and make sure these are turned off. Then what you want to make is a capsule, just one capsule, and that will go in the middle. So 1, 2, 3. I can't place it. It has to be placed like on its own, like that. Okay. So if I try placing dirt there, oh no, it worked. Oh, I thought the dirt would break it. What I want to do now is get a core of modularity, an uncharged one, obviously. Make that, and right-click it into your capsule. Now, you can't see it in there, but it is in there. And then what you do is you get some levers, or, you get redstone signal, put them onto your laser emitters, and turn it on. And that will fire a beam of energy into your capsule. So, again here, and here. Now, there must be a gap of 1, 2, 3 in between. If you put it like here and then try turning it on, you'll get this smoke coming out and it can explode. It must be a gap of 1, 2, 3 and then the laser, okay? You can also place them below and above, as you can see here. That will work fine. The more lasers you use, the quicker this is going to work. So down here, for example, I can place that one. There we go. Now, the annoying thing here is I can't tell when it's ready. I would say wait 5 minutes of real time, and then you should get your core of modularity that is now charged. Now, because we can't see it in here, it's hard to know when it's done. But just wait 5 minutes, I would say, and you should be fine. Unfortunately, if anything goes wrong, you will start the process again. If I right-click this capsule, do not do it. If I right-click this capsule, either when it is charged or before it has fully charged, I will get the core of modularity out. So that's how you get it back out. You just right-click. However, you must turn your lasers off first. So I go off, 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 and off. Okay, I right click it, and as you can see it says uncharged because I didn't leave it in long enough. Okay, so I'll put it back in. Turn your lasers back on, you're basically starting again from scratch now. It won't remember what percentage it was at. You literally just have to start again. I would wait 5-10 minutes. I don't know the exact timings, but it takes a while. If you break this capsule, or if I right click it now, what's going to happen is smoke is coming out because the lasers are still on, and they're all going to explode as seen. So you must turn your lasers off before you try and take the capsule or the core out. But anyway, once you've waited 10 minutes, turn the laser off, or 5 minutes, however long it takes, I'm not sure, sorry. Once you turn the lasers off and you take out your charged core, then we're going to go into a modular, well, actually, we're going to press U on here, and you can see you can make a modular helmet, a modular chest plate, a modular leggings, and a modular boots. Each one needs one core of modularity. Then, once you've made the item, so let's say the modular helmet, what you do is you go to a modular workbench, put the item in here on the bottom slot, give it power, and then see this tab up here? This is your modules. So let's say I want a fire resistance module. I will need a Mark IV circuit. Remember that's on this tab here. So I need a Mark IV circuit in there and some tungsten plates. I'm playing some mod packs, so yours may look different. Place your tungsten plates in here, and you'll see a percentage, and it's making you the fire resistance module. And while that's making that, we've got an auto feeder, efficiency, fire resistance, fire aspect, breathing, looting, night vision, jump boost, range, silk touch, built-in elytra, fortune, sharpness, all these different things you can add into these tools. When it's done, I can take out the fire resistance module. There we go. I go back to this tab, and then I can add it into here. And as you can see, we cannot add the fire resistance module into the helmet. It gives you fire resistance effect at cost of shield charge, can be installed on chest plate. So that's the only one we can charge that onto. But what you would do is you would put it into this slot, and it would put it into the chest plate here. And you can see here, I have got my armor module in this helmet. I would use a charger. If you want to charge your gear, I would use a charger here. You can just right click it onto the charger to charge it, as these can take power. As you can see, it's now got 2% power. So just make a charge pad for that. There's also the gamer axe, and this one is where you basically would use, this one is made not with a singularity core, but it can have modules, and this is where you'd put your fire aspect, etc. onto, and that's pretty much it. Now, the only other tools you can get in Industrial Revolution is going to be the drills, which are these drills here. So not quite modular gear, but you can make a mining drill Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, and Mark 4, which will basically just help you with mining. And even though they're not crazy expensive and don't need the cores of modularity, you can still add modules into here in the same way, like Fortune and Silk Touch, etc. And there we go. That is how you use modular gear. If you're watching this part of the Ultimate Guide, that concludes the tutorial. That is everything you need to know to play Industrial Revolution. Please do subscribe and check out my channel if this guide was helpful to you. I do an insane amount of mods all the time. Comment below what more mods you'd like to see, and just use the search bar on my channel because I'm uploading mods daily, almost sometimes. So chances are I will have most of the mods you may be looking for. If you want to join our Patreon ATM server or the other servers we're launching, then join our Discord and check out me on Mondays for live on Twitch, on YouTube and YouTube.